The IRS has been much in the news the last couple of weeks. One, for offering you a deal on taxes you owe, and two, charging you more money on taxes you owe. It completely confused people, so I'm going to explain both to you and how they work, and also tell you about scamsters among our midst about taxes you may owe. The IRS is doing something that is so unusual, it has never, as best I know, ever happened. When you don't pay the taxes you owe, every month that goes by, you owe more penalty for the taxes you haven't paid. And the IRS is looking back in the Wayback Machine to back during COVID. And there are a lot of people who didn't pay their taxes. And the IRS is actually giving you forgiveness of interest penalties that you owe, late payment penalties, in the amount of collectively $1 billion or so. I mean, this has never happened that I know of. Maybe an accountant can say, well, you forgot what happened in 1957 or whatever. No, I have no idea if this ever happened. There's roughly 5 million people who owed taxes from 20 and 21 that are getting forgiveness from the IRS for the penalties that you owe, but with a special requirement. And this is why when people owe back taxes, they usually try to hide from them and ignore them and figure it'll never come back to them. The IRS is giving you a special incentive, the waiver of these penalties, if you get them paid what you owe them by April Fool's Day. This is not a bad April Fool's joke. This is actually a good thing for April Fool's Day. And I wanted to tell you as soon as I could, so you would have the months between now and April Fool's Day to get caught up with the IRS for these 2 tax years and pay them the money that you might have owed from 20 and 21. Now, if you're owing the IRS a huge pile of money from those years, which the IRS defines as more than $100,000, you don't qualify for this program. But remember, April Fool's Day is your deadline. So normally you think, well, April, wouldn't it be April 15th? They didn't do April 15th. They did April 1st, before April 1st, I should say. So get it done. Now, there's a lot of phony baloney stuff floating around on social media right now and on websites and on YouTube and all that with people who have taken this information about this program and tried to pretend that they're going to be your tax hero and that you need to hire them to do this stuff. You don't. And who knows, those con artists may just take the money that you were trying to pay the IRS and run off with it. So avoid any of these tax relief con artists out there and just do what you need to with the IRS. If you've got a mess on your hands with taxes, you don't go hire one of these con artist companies. You go hire a legitimate tax person. If you owe huge money, like the people who owe more than $100,000, you go hire a tax attorney. Otherwise, you hire, and I've talked about this before, an enrolled agent or a CPA who does tax. Now, one other thing. Over the last few years, I have a pretty complicated tax situation. I have not paid what are known as quarterlies to the IRS, quarterly estimates that business owners have to pay, people that are self-employed and all that, because over the last many years, interest rates were so low that the IRS charged that it was better for me, cheaper for me, just to pay the IRS their penalties than it was to do the quarterly filings and do all that and send them the money every 90 days and all that. Not anymore, because the IRS interest rate has been reset at 8%, the underpayment penalty. So if you, drive for Uber, or you do anything where you've got 1099 income, or you own your own business, and you just figure it out at the end of the year, that figuring it out gets much more expensive if you don't pay what are called your quarterlies, your quarterly estimates. And you pay those, you will avoid the 8%, but interest that they're going to charge. But if you don't, they're going to charge you. So your tax bill is bad enough, then you have to pay 8% more for the penalties. So please, don't do what I've done for years, and I don't do anymore. Pay them what you owe them with the estimates throughout the course of the year. It's pretty simple. They just want money. The form to send it in takes about 30 seconds to fill out.